after our own mental health and our well-being can be a bit of a challenge. And when you're a kind of creative person and you want to be doing and making things all the time, sometimes it's very difficult for us to allow ourselves to just stop, to stop and just breathe. So in this Friday art, I'm going to show you a couple of ways to make a really simple little sketchbook art journal, and we're going to be using some inspirational quotes and a little bit of collage, and it's the sort of thing that you can just dip into just for a few minutes or for a couple of hours, depending on what feels right for you. So welcome if you are new here, and welcome back all you lovely people who have been with me for a while. My name is Cate Field. I'm an artist, teacher and speaker, and passionate about helping you develop and find your creative spirit, and then helping you to just move on in your art journey. And thank you for all the lovely comments and the weather updates. Love the weather updates. So good. And without further ado, let's get going. I started this little one a few days ago, actually. Thought I would do it for one of my classes here. And then I thought, perhaps you might like it too. And what I've done is I've put some collage on each page, and I've started to put in a few inspirational quotes. I've sort of tied it up. But this piece, if I open it out, is actually made from one piece of paper, and it's just the way that it's cut. It's sort of getting in a little bit of a tangle here, but you can see. I'm just going to bring the camera up like that, and you can see that it's from one piece of paper. Now, I used to make things like this when I was a little girl, and I used to love doing it, and maybe you did as well. And it's very, very simple to make, and you don't need to measure anything because we're doing it in quarters and eighths and sixteenths, so really easy. And you can just fold it back up like a concertina. So I'm going to show you how to do it, how to make it, and then we're going to give you some suggestions on, oh, here we go, what you might like to do to put into it. Because the whole point of today's tutorial is we're going to be looking after ourselves, and however that might be. And for me, I need to take time to stop sometimes. So what I've done is I've got some inspirational quotes that I've printed out. Now I have created a download of this with a whole load of instructions on what you could do, and if you would like that, the link is below. We're going to make little tags, and we're going to use all sorts of bits of ephemera that I've got lying around, letters and sort of stickers, bits of music, things that I've collected and that are accumulating in my studio. Now, the lovely thing about this technique is that you can use any sort of paper, any size, because we're not going to actually do any measuring. What we're going to do is to fold. So you're going to take your sheet of paper and you're going to fold it in half lengthways, and then just fold it back on itself again, just to make that fold very clear. And you're going to fold those bits in like this. Oh, I'm just going to line it up there. It doesn't have to be absolutely accurate, like that. This is a sheet of A4, sort of a bit like letter size, and I'm going to do another one that's bigger. Fold those like that, fold those like that. Got it, and then we're going to fold it that way, like that, and like that. So this is why it really doesn't matter what size it is, because you're just folding it half and half and half, and it is the size that it is. There you go. So you will end up with 16 spaces. Now, how you cut it is important, but there are two different ways that you can cut it. We're just going to do both of them. So the first one, I'm just going to get my pencil so I can show you. You're going to cut a ruler as well down that bit up to there. Then you're going to cut that bit down to there, and then you're going to cut that bit down to there. So I'm just going to cut those just using my scissors. You could use a craft knife. There we go. To there, just turn that round. There we go. And then the last one. So very simple. Like that. And then we're going to start to fold it up like a concertina. So folding those bits over like that. Then that bit will go under there. Fold that bit over like that. It's a little bit trickier when you get to the corners. Just like that. And then that way, backwards and forwards. That. This is why it's good to fold them twice. I didn't do it with this one, but which is why it's gone a little bit wonky, but that's okay. So you end up with all the pieces all folded up on top of each other. Then you want to have your top one so that it opens out like a book, and that's going to be your front. So I'm just going to write front on here. Turn it over. I'm going to write back, because I want you to see what happens. So you're turning all of these pages like this, and we're just going to number the pieces, and I'm just going to do them in great big numbers just so that you can see. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then the final two, 15 and 16, and then we have the back. So let's just open that back up and we can see what it looks like. And you can see, there we go, I'm just going to turn it around that way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they go in a particular way. And when you decorate these, if you want to do like a background, you could do a whole background and then fold it all up again. So every page will have the same background. Just going to flip it over where we can see we have the front cover and the back cover. That's one way of cutting it. I'm going to show you the other way. So, got another piece of paper, same size, but this time I'm going to turn it round this way. Just lift that up a bit. And we're going to cut it in this vertical way. So I'm going to cut that one there. So we're finishing at that point. And then that one. And then that one, like that. Same thing of cutting these. And then you can decide which style you want, or you could do both. And think about what paper you want to use. If you use thick paper, it would just be a little bit more difficult to fold, but not impossible. But very thin paper works really well. This is just copier paper. I'm going to show you how I use different sorts of paper. So here we are. Oh, put it around this way. And again, I'm just going to concertina all the pages together, backwards and forwards, this way, like this. This is actually the most difficult bit. You can get in a bit of a muddle, which I sometimes do. And it means that you've now got this one. Oops, just turn it around that way. That's your front. And that's your back. Let's go back to this one. I did fold it all up and then it unfolded itself. Did its own thing. Let's fold it back up again. So you can have one that, let's just push that back down again, is more of a landscape, or one that is more of a portrait. So you decide which one you want to do. Now I'm going to go and get one that I have prepared earlier, as they say, that is slightly bigger, so that you can see what I'm doing to decorate it. So we're going to start by putting down some backgrounds, and I'm just going to sort of flick through this little one that I started to create yesterday when I was thinking about what to do first in this tutorial. And there are just endless ways that you can create your own. But on these pages here, I laid down a watercolor wash, and others I just stuck in some backgrounds. And it's the same with this one. And I collect all sorts of bits and pieces from newspapers and magazines, and music bits and bits of brown paper and tickets and all sorts of things. And these can all be used. So I do kind of collect them all in a bit of a heap. Someone did ask me the other day actually how I organise my bits and pieces, and I tend to organise them by colour, but not always, because although I am quite organised, I'm not that organised. But it does make life a little bit easier if you can get all of your bits and pieces together before you start. So I'm going to have a look at some of the collage pieces that I've created over the last few weeks in previous tutorials actually, and I'm going to use those as my backgrounds. One of the very many joys of being an art teacher is that I end up with a lot of stuff. When I've done experimental pieces, I tend to keep them because I know that I am going to use them at another time. So these ones I did creating the stencil, and I did a tutorial on using stencils, and if you haven't checked that out, you could have a look at that later. But I really liked these, and I knew that I was going to use them, and I think now is the time. So I'm going to work on a little square. So it's a little bit bigger than this one. Let me just get my ruler. So it's about 10 centimetres, which is, 4 inches. That sort of size. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what size the paper is. You can just work on whatever you have. But I do really like this, and I think I'm going to have this design as my cover. And I'm going to use it throughout the book as well. Now, the other thing that I've done is I've created this document, 110 uplifting quotes for art journaling, that I've collected, and I've given you some sort of ideas of what you can do. Now you can download this I'm offering it as a freebie. And what I've done is I've got lots and lots of quotes, and you can just sort of dip into them. I'm going to take some of them, I'm going to cut them out and stick them into my journal, or you can handwrite them and just copy them. It's entirely up to you how you work your journal. So I've started to choose the quotes that I want, and I'm just going to tear them. You could cut them, and again you could handwrite them, as I said. Just get them ready to make a start, and then you're ready to go. You can use whatever glue you like. I'm just going to use an ordinary glue stick. You could use double-sided tape. I might use double-sided tape for some things and glue for others. So I'm going to start off in this book here. Now I have actually got Monty on my desk. I'm just going to show you. There he is. He's asleep. He's a very old boy, and at the moment he just wants to be close by, so that's where he is. So if you hear him snoring then just accept it that it's him and it's not me. So what we can do is we can open up the first 4. So I've adjusted that. That's Monty, that's your fault. There we go. We can open that up. The next one is when it turns round, but so you can work all in one go if you want to, or you could work on a double sheet. Now I'm going to use this. I really do like this one, and I particularly like this flower. Debating whether to have it on the front. I think I might have it on the front. I keep kind of changing my mind on that one, but I'm going to use some of this one as well. This is on the old sheet music that I got from a charity shop very close to where I live, and the lovely staff in there, they know that I like all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and they hang on to stuff for me, which is really nice. Some of it is a little bit too weird, even for me. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. I just want to show you a technique of layering. Just going to pop that one on there. To create your backgrounds, I might just sort of put 2 lots of the same. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The thing with this kind of journal or little collage sketchbook is that you can keep adding to it, and you know, if you're a bit short of time, or if you're not sure what you want to do, then I think it's a really good way to just keep your creative juices flowing. Just get my ruler. Now this was on tissue paper, so it is quite fragile, but it means it layers really easily. It doesn't get too bulky. With the thicker paper and things that I've done on card, I might cut out some shapes and do those. So I'm just sort of layering that one there. So you can do this, then you can add some other bits as well. Let's just put that one on that side. You can use pages from a magazine. I like using old maps as well. There we go. And then I'm going to choose a quote that I like. I might just sort of break it up a little bit. Just put a little bit of glue on the back. Like this. And that's one page done. Now you could do all 4 in a row using the same pieces to have a kind of a cohesion, and that can be really nice. Or you could do completely different things. So I'm going to do just another technique here to show you. So I'm going to use my watercolor here, and I'm going to use this sort of moss green. Just going to very lightly across the page like this. Then I'm going to get my other brush. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go. I need a round brush, and I'm just going to put some blobs of water on the page like this. Let's just move that down a little bit so you can see those blobs. There we go. And then within each blob, I'm going to pop in some paint. You'll see it will just disperse a little bit, and I'm going to turn those into little flowers. I've done a few more. I'm going to leave those to dry and just keep it very, very still. And while I'm leaving that to dry, I'll show you something else. Now, a bit like a magpie is drawn to shiny things, I'm always drawn to colour. And this is a piece of wrapping paper that I found in my local shop. I live by the seaside, and we have some gorgeous gift shops nearby, and I saw this and I thought, oh, I really like that as wrapping paper, so I bought it. And I bought a few sheets, and then I thought, oh, I want to make a larger journal, and this is going to be great. Now this is wrapping paper it has a bit of substance to it. It's not like tissue paper. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did with the other sheets of paper in folding it to create another book. So I'm just, and I can't spread out at the moment because Monty is still there. So, you can just see his ear. There he is. Oh, look at him. I know. You're going to have to move at some point, Mont, otherwise you're going to get covered in stuff. Never mind. Oh, he is a very lovely cat. Let me just do that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to fold this all up and turn it into another little book. And by then, I think my little watercolours might be dry. But I also want to show you something else. This is going to be quite a packed lesson, I feel. So I folded up my bit of wrapping paper. I've decided to do it this way round with the lines vertical. And I've also decided to have the pattern as the front and back, so that the pages on the inside are blank. And it means that there's the pretty back covers as well. So just another way of working. I'm going to open up this page here and think about how I'm going to decorate it. And again, I'm going to sort of use some of the backgrounds that I've used before, and maybe some of my more neutral colours, some bits of music, bit of a map, that kind of thing. And I'll start to put together some ideas. Then I'm going to choose what phrases I want, and I'm going to put those on. Now, the other thing before we really get going is I want to show you how you can make little kind of ornamentation pieces that you can stick on. I like to use flowers. They're kind of my favourite type of thing. And they're really nice to just sort of place at the final bit, or almost at the final bit. And I'll show you what I mean. Now, in a previous tutorial, I showed you how to make little flowers from cutting out circles, like this one, and then also how to create flowers using very simple shapes and then building on them. And this is the principle we're going to use again. So if you haven't checked out my flowers tutorial, you might like to do that as well. I'm going to do this very quickly. I've got fairly substantial paper because I'm going to be making it wet. All we're going to do is to put some circles on. These are going to be a little bit smaller than the ones I did in the this is moving about all over the place, isn't it? In the previous one, because we're going to actually be cutting out these flowers. So how you place them on the page doesn't really matter because they're not going to be staying on this page. I'm just going to do just a series of orange and yellow and red. You see, this is not sophisticated at all. There, some different sizes, like that. Then I'm going to get my fine liner pen and then round. You could wait till they dry. I'm just going to create a very simple flower like this, and I'm just going to use the blobs as the sort of the centerpiece of the flower. So these are a bit bigger, like this, and then I'll just show you this little one here. So I'm not thinking about it too much. Like this. I'm going to do all of those and then I'm going to cut them out. I'm just using the shapes like this. Now you don't have to use this at all. You can just do your own. You don't have to do flowers. You can do whatever you want. But these are going to give little elements that you can then use in your journal. And I do really recommend that you do your own. I know that you can buy these and I buy some background papers sometimes, but I like to make my own. And I definitely like to make my own elements because I feel that it becomes much more personal, but you can mix it up as well. I have created some background papers and collage that I'll show you in another tutorial because I'm still working on those and they are going to be available. I've been working on them for quite some time actually, and I'm quite pleased with them. But we'll see how we go with those. Right, I'm going to cut those out. Probably wait until that dries and then I'll cut them out. So I've got all my little bits and pieces together. I cut out my little flowers. I've got this one where I did my watercolor splodges and just started this. And I'm just going to do the cover. And I've used my collage paper. I've just stuck it onto a bit of card and I'm just going to place it there just so that the cover is a little bit stiffer than the other pages because it's still a little bit floppy. Right, I'm just going to pop that one on there because I like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a phrase to sort of start off. The tricky bit is choosing which one you want, because there's so many. But yeah, you can make lots, couldn't you? And I think I'm just going to pop that one on there and maybe that one there. But I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to put another couple of bits on, including, I think, this little one, because I think that's quite fun. The other thing that we are going to do is to do little tags. I'm going to show you how to do those. I mean, you probably know how to do them already, but I like little, oh dear, glue's falling apart. I like doing little tags on things, little labels, and we can make little pockets and things like that. Make things quite decorative and fun. So yes, we'll pop that one there. My little flower. And then I'm going to pop that one on there. And this one. So your dreams are worth the effort. It's one of those phrases that I think we forget about sometimes, that we have to actually put in the effort. I do say that to some of my younger students when they're on the brink of giving up on something because it's not working exactly how they wanted it to work. That's life, isn't it? That is life. So let's go back to these ones. Now, in your journal, obviously, you do whatever you want. But on this page, I'm going to carry on with this sort of flower theme. This is still a little bit wet, actually. Let's just change pens, but that's fine. Just put those. I'm just doing this very, very loosely. I just want to have this kind of a freedom, as if there's just this sort of wildflower meadow just waiting to be explored. And yeah, this is the background anyway, so again, don't worry about it. Don't take too much time to plan. Plan a little bit in so much as you're getting all your bits together. But other than that, don't worry about it too much. Or don't worry about it at all. And then I could add another little flower on the top, or I could go straight in with words, or I could do a few other bits as well. And this is the joy. You won't finish it all in one go. You'll just add to it. You'll just look at other things that you like. Find I've got a bit of handwriting here, which is quite, makes a really nice sort of background. Just bits of old letters and things like that. And when we start to layer these things up, let's just put that there. This is going to get a bit sticky. I can't move back because Monty is still there. He's still asleep. Let's put that there. I like this sort of neutral colour. I've got another bit of old-fashioned typewriting, which is lovely. Again, I kind of pick these things up from charity shops and all sorts of places like that. And you can buy bits of ephemera, and I do that as well. But I like old maps and old receipts. Got a few parking ticket things, which aren't the most exciting, but it just sort of adds to your background of collage, which I like. Again, that's why I do tend to colour coordinate my collage pieces, and then I just keep them in little boxes, cat food boxes actually. So they work out really well. Again, you can just layer things up. You can use newspaper. One of my students did this gorgeous collage. She collected a lot of local newspapers over several months, and she found the obituaries, and not the obituaries of famous people, but of local people. And she used that in her sketchbook and her journal, and it was a really beautiful piece of work. really quite poignant. So you could do something like that. And when you sort of pick up old books and you get interesting text, and I've got an old travel brochure here that I picked up. This one has got this old map of Bruges on it, and I know that I'm going to use that for something. I just haven't worked it out yet what I'm going to do, although I might take this little bit, because that's quite interesting there. It's really nice paper as well. And I might, oh look, the trouble is when you start looking at this you think, oh, St Walburga's Church, I wonder what that's like, and then you go and have a look, and then suddenly you go down a little little rabbit warren. But that's okay, isn't it? That's okay. You're allowed to do that. You are allowed to do it. So I'm just going to pop that little flower there. So I hope you're starting to get some ideas, and you can have several journals on the go at the same time. That is allowed. Put that one on there. And then I'm going to think about what phrase I like. And again, I like all of these. Believe in the beauty of each moment is a lovely one. Embrace the possibilities. So have a play. I'm going to play with this one and the one that I made from the wrapping paper. And I'll see you a little bit later. So the next thing we're going to do are labels. I just had to clear everything up because Monty had a stretch and everything got knocked off. So, oh dear. But, what would we do without him? He's just lovely. Right, we're going to use labels. Now you could buy these ones. I got these from our stationers. But I quite like making my own. And, oh, that's stuck there. And I've made some here out of bits of sheet music. Just put a little hole in it. And then what I'm going to do is to write. I'm going to do some handwriting, but I've got a list of happy words, and I'm going to use some of these. There we go. As well, I'm just going to show you the type of thing. You could tear these if you wanted to. That's up to you. There we go. Ooh. And then you have your label, and then you just stick one word on the label. So I'm going to do a few of these, and I'll show you what they look like. And then I'm going to make a little pocket in my book to put them in. So I made a few little tags here. This one's just out of the sheet music, and I've just stuck my little flowers on as well. And what I'm going to do is to put these into, so I've got my journal here, a little pocket, and I'm just going to pop them into the pocket. And this pocket is very easy to make. So it's made out of one sheet of paper. You just fold it in a particular way. So I've made it so it is actually the same size as two of the squares. You fold it in half, so you've got your crease. Let's just move that out of the way. You then fold it like that, so you've got your corners folded in, and you take one corner and fold that in, and then fold it over again. Same with that side. So you've got that shape. Then you fold it up, and then you decide which side you want. And you can put a little bit of glue at the bottom there, just to sort of stop it flopping about. So you can put a bit of glue there, just do that. Little glue dots will work as well, just to hold it in place. That one. I like little pockets. Then the other thing that you could do with these journals, these books, is to give them as gifts. And I made one for a friend of mine who was struggling for a whole variety of reasons, and it was just an alternative to a card, really. But that was quite nice, and she enjoyed it. Let's go. So you could do that, or you could do it just for yourself, and that would be okay as well. Let's just pop that on there. There we go. Just squish that down, and then when that's dried completely, oh God, I get so mucky, I really do. And then you can just pop it in. Pop them into your book like that. So this is my book so far for this one. There we go. Turning. Can you hear Monty snoring? Oh, Mont. Let's move that. And then my little pocket there. Then I've got one more page that I might do. I've just done that one on the back. And then with this one, just sort of putting in some more quotes, things like that. And they're just things that I can add to. And the other thing that you might want to do, as I did with this one, I found a really pretty button. Wrap my string around it. And then you can just tie a little bow. Obviously you could use ribbon or something like that. So there they are. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going to do. Post your creations onto the Facebook group, which is so lovely and friendly and joyful. So if you haven't joined it and you'd like to, then please do that. You'll be made very, very welcome. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial and that you've found something that you can take away and work with and use in your creative journey. And if you'd like to subscribe or like, and you haven't done that yet, that would be very nice. And if you'd like to join the membership, then perhaps check that out as well. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group and you'd like to do that, check that out as well, because it's a really friendly, warm and welcoming place. And if you want to learn some more, you could look at this one or that one. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.